Hello and welcome to FiveWhoFans. I'm Billy, this is John.
Welcome back.
That's Dan, and today we're joined by Matt.
Hello. Series 11, Episode 1. No? Series 11, Episode 10, The Battle of Ranskoor of Kolos.
Who wants to talk first?
This was a really good episode of Doctor Who! And I just want to say that I'm so happy to have experienced it with you all. That continued. For me, what's been the theme of this series, and it's that a bunch of really good, solid, character-driven episodes with sci-fi plots that are not necessarily the focus. It's about the people, and for that reason, I had a grand old time. I really enjoyed it, and those were my initial thoughts. Who else wants to share with the class?
Dan.
Oh.
Then me.
Oh. Okay. Yes. I think I enjoyed it. I don't know if I enjoyed it to the extent that you enjoyed it.
I was physically enjoying it.
I enjoyed the grander scale of the threat. I think there was some great Graham moments. Graham and Ryan, actually. There's some brilliant
Yes.
moments. And the Doctor moments, and I didn't mind Tim Shaw being back. I slightly wish maybe he did a bit more. I don't think it's been as strong as the previous 3 episodes. I think they were the best that we've had this series personally. But it was fine. I think it was better than... I think it was similar theme to the Ghost Monument. I felt sort of taken sort of closer to that, but I think it was better than the Ghost Monument. Middling. I think it's a middling episode, even though it's a finale. Thinking back at what we've had in terms of finales, we've sometimes experienced something a lot more grander.
Yeah.
But I guess in this series, things have been so much smaller in terms of threats. It's been these little things that I guess to end on, well, it's the Earth at peril, which we haven't had for a while. That was quite nice.
And for me, that was the thing that I've enjoyed about this series is the smaller scale of everything, because it's like the characters come to the fore, because I kind of got lost,
Yeah.
shall we say, in the last couple of seasons.
Yeah, definitely.
I really loved that. I really enjoyed that. I think that's one of the most rewarding finales we've had in such a long time. And it was like such a payoff and just a lovely character stuff and a really nice little kind of commentary as well on like being led astray by your faith and a great return of Tim Shaw, and I just found it really rewarding. I found that smashing. I really bloody loved it. I'm with you, Matt. I think that was cracking good television.
Again, the
and Matt, the thing is about that is that makes us the better men.
Oh, we're the better men.
You want to.
I could be a better man. You don't know. You don't know what I'm going to say.
What are you going to say, Billy?
No, I can't talk.
Tell us what you're going to say.
Because I do this all the time.
That's
No, the other thing that the other thing you do.
okay, I'm busy. That's your one joke.
Little evil chuckle before I begin.
Yes.
Yeah, that was I watched it and it happened and it was I had fun, and for me it was fine. I think I'm with Dan. I didn't catch me in the way that obviously it did with you two. I could feel you both enjoying it, and it might be that on repeat viewings. I come to appreciate it more. It's just there was nothing really that kind of that made me kind of want to invest in the entire situation. It had good stakes. You had planetary kind of destruction at stake. I don't think you need Daleks or Cybermen in a finale to make it good. But at the same time, I didn't really think that Tim Shaw was necessarily strong enough to hold it up as a series antagonist for me. You had the personal stakes of Graham. I thought that was
nice.
That was the best aspect of it. And I like the moment when my favourite moment is when Graham takes the Doctor to the side and says, "I'm going to kill him." Yeah, the stake isn't the stakes. Although like I said, we've got death stakes there. It's it's whether or not Graham is going to
cross that
line and never come back. And you genuinely think he might at some point.
Yeah, you definitely feel like he's on the cusp of making a decision that he would live to regret.
At the end of the first episode, I was very surprised that they killed one of our central characters in Grace. This time around, I'm a little surprised that we still have all 4 of the main characters. We've had we had a cover released of on the Radio Times and stuff of them all 4 in the finale, but they've played that trick before, and that was a very good idea. where we see Grace in moments when she is definitely dead. I thought Bradley Walsh was fantastic as always. I think the Doctor was good. I thought Ryan was okay, and Yaz was also there.
Yaz was there.
Yaz was there.
That's kind of it for me, really. And we'll go into it in a bit. So should we just open it up? What's the main thing that people want to talk about?
I actually think as well. I've had a hankering to go back to it for such a long time. Episode 1, and I actually think revisiting it, that Tim Shaw is actually a great villain. I think he's great. I think he's good. He's got presence. I think he's scary. He's threatening for children. Obviously, he comes around and takes your teeth out of your face, quite literally, and sticks them into his own. And I found him. He's just this kind of hulking presence in the first episode, and he's a bit like an Alien vs Predator thing. And then in this episode, we get to see him have delusions of grandeur that are totally generated out of revenge. And that's what the great thematic thing going on with Graham is that whole thing that he wants revenge on Tim Shaw. So you've got great payoff in that pathos. And it's it was just really satisfying for me to come back round.
I think again that has been, as I said before, that's been the strength of this series for me. Is it's wild sci-fi and fantasy plots, but and it is smaller scale, but that's allowed the characters to really come through and shine, and their relationships build throughout this series, which is why this was so satisfying, just to see those arcs sort of like this could almost be complete. Like if this was, thankfully it's not, we now know, but if this was the end of Doctor Who, that you would leave it in a place with all these characters have completed a journey and are ready to all make a fresh start together.
Apart from who was there. The only thing she's really developed into this series is a springboard for the Doctor to be like, what was the thing I was thinking of? Yes, what was the thing I was thinking of? Oh, I know, Doctor! And they say it in unison, and that's kind of that relationship. And it's sure, great. I like that they're that busy, but
the shippers love it.
Yeah, I'm fine with that. I just give us a little bit more stuff for Yaz.
I think the thing for me with Yaz, from a character standpoint, is she felt the most complete and fulfilled of the 3 when she joined the crew.
Yeah.
So she hasn't got as far to go. It's more about her escaping from her own family and finding her own sort of
her own independence.
Yeah, her independence.
But she's already got it.
Exactly. So she's really not got that far to go. So yeah, I would like to see more out of Yaz, but it's not really bothered me so much that we haven't seen as much development from her. One, because what's the actress who plays Yaz?
Mandip Gill.
Mandip Gill. I think she's great,
Mm-hmm.
and even when she's not, she's one of those actors that even when she's not really got anything to do,
She elevates the
she's-
material,
yeah.
doesn't she?
she absolutely elevates the material. She's just alive in it, and I think that is why the chemistry between her and Jodie Whittaker flies so well. Jodie's very manic, and Mandy Gill is more restrained, but she's still very receptive. So they kind of bounce off each other well, even when they're not doing much.
Mm-hmm.
So it's just nice to watch them sort of spark off each other, just passively in a way. Whereas obviously Graham and Ryan's roles are more heavily developed and written, so they have more to get their teeth into.
It's the real story of the series has been those two.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah,
It's been all about leading up to that fist bump.
That fist bump, and what do you do next? What do you do after the fist bump?
You kill Graham.
I thought they were going to do it.
Yeah,
I
because
thought they were going to do it, but before the fist bump, to be fair.
well, yeah, they have that line in the first episode, don't they? They talk about how Graham recovered from cancer, wasn't it? He was in remission. So it's like it felt like it was just sort of like tacked in there a little bit to try and sort of imply that he was going to get it again towards the end of the series, and that didn't happen. So I wonder whether that's the case of it coming back for New Year's, or whether it's Chris Chibnall sort of saying, actually, no, I was just giving that character a bit more depth.
Although he has got it in his back pocket to play later if he wants to.
Yeah,
if he
so
needs to,
that's
yeah.
a neat
But also,
His arc isn't over as a character.
Yeah.
He's still alive.
he's
so-
still alive. There's still more to go. There's another episode at least with this crew.
I would be shocked if we didn't get the full crew for whenever season 12 lands.
Do you think they'll be all there still?
I think so.
Wow. Okay.
I believe so. Because I think then you can do what I think we all sort of want, where Yaz takes more of a centre role,
Yeah.
and now that Graham and Ryan have sort of completed their arcs, they're more solid supporting.
They can be the
Foundations.
supporters.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, you could do that. Yeah.
That's were I Chibnall, that's what I would do. I think I've said before, both here and on the Big Damn Cast podcast every Friday, I think there's definitely more been riding on this success of this series that has been made public.
Yeah.
Hence why it's been a short season. It's taken us all long to get confirmation of season 12 and whether we're going to get that till next year or the year after, all that stuff. So I think Christian went into this and he's written this series that's got complete enough character arcs. So like I say, you could end it there and it not be so wrenching
If it got cancelled.
if it didn't come back.
Yeah.
But left himself enough room with these characters to go, okay, well, I've got at least one more year of stories to tell with these folks.
Yeah.
I think
in the toy box.
I think that's, which I think is probably why we've not seen as much out of Yaz. Although we've had, as the Demons of the Punjab was so heavily focused on her backstory and meeting her family in Arachnids in the UK, we got that sort of almost roseness to her,
Yeah.
the groundedness of her, even though we didn't get to delve into it much.
Well, this is what, like I've said before on here, is Yaz is the most, out of all of the Nobu companions, she comes from the most normal family. She's got, her parents are still together.
And alive.
And they live in a council, not a council flat, they just live in a flat, and it's well enough furnished from IKEA, and all they got to worry about is that her dad really collects rubbish bins and her mum's in between jobs.
And an annoying sister.
And an annoying sister. It's like the most normal life you can have. So her reasoning to get on the TARDIS is still kind of like, because I was bored and you.
Yes.
In theory, on paper, that makes her more relatable, but there's not really enough to get your teeth into as a viewer.
Yeah, there's no kind of, again, there's no struggle for us to be like, oh Yaz. Whereas we've had that with Ryan and Graham, and the best thing here is that was being paid off in spades, I felt.
I think for me, Yaz has just been inherently likeable since the start.
She's just
I
I think it was Jenny who said in episode 4, what's there not to like?
Yeah.
That's the thing. She's just likeable. I think my favourite episodes of this series, apart from Arachnids in the UK, were all written by Chris Chibnall. This series could have just been 5 episodes, and I would have really, really bloody loved it. Just get rid of Arachnids in And really, as well, the arc would have been like a much stronger, tighter knit thing.
Yeah.
In just those 5 episodes. But that also plays against. I'm kind of talking more in general terms of the series, because Chibnall's aims when the series was coming back was I want to make Doctor Who accessible to everyone. I want it to be jumping on point every week. I also want it to be event television.
Mm-hmm.
And I think he succeeded in making it a show that people can jump on. I know a lot of people who've joined it this year and are enjoying it. And that's great, but at the same time, by removing the story arc and this narrative trend, which we see a lot in all over television and film, he's kind of made it not event television at the same time.
In the age of streaming, it's particularly now the BBC are having more of their back catalogue on iPlayer for longer. I think that's kind of by the meaning of event television has changed from, oh, this thing is on next Friday, we have to go and watch it now, to, oh my god, this entire series dropped on Netflix and I binged like 5 episodes of it, you have to go watch it now.
Yes.
And I think that is, by making it easily accessible from any episode, that is the market you're aiming at.
That's a good point, actually.
You're going, hey, watch this episode of this thing, and you watch, I don't know, say The Witchfinders, because it was like tail end of the series.
Yeah.
Wow, that was great. Oh, there's 7 more of these. All right. Boom, binge them.
That's true, actually. Yeah.
So I think he's probably saying event television, thinking the former, but actually meaning the latter, because that's what that is now.
Yeah.
Since Netflix has sort of taken over, that's what must-watch television is now.
Yeah.
It's word of mouth. Go binge this thing now.
Yeah. Okay. And yeah, you could easily watch this one easier than previous because it's not so tied into previous continuity.
Mm-hmm.
Instead of using the TARDIS, why couldn't the Doctor have rung up the Kablam men and had a bunch of them deliver the planets back to their space in the universe?
You'd have loved that.
Delivery from the Doctor.
My goodness, he just.
Oh, that's wonderful.
I think Chibnall might also be a little bit scared to go that far. And I think that might be a drawback as well.
I think the success of this series will embolden him to make those sort of.
Fingers crossed.
Yeah, hopefully. That's
Hopefully
what I'd like
next
to see.
series we will see more of like a more structured story arc and something that we can all go,
I'd like to see that, because I really do think that this series was a saving throw for the show.
Yeah.
If it hadn't gone down as well as it has,
and it
with
has.
most people, you know you are. If it hadn't gone down as well as it has, I don't think we would be getting more for a while anyway.
I think it has been. I think he deliberately made it like as vanilla.
Yeah,
It's safe. It is safe.
I don't think it could. It's a series that will not confuse, and it all sort of ties in. So I guess, and in a way, it doesn't necessarily disappoint. Because I guess at the same time with these sort of finales where everything's tied in, and then the very last episode is like. Like when you've got Death in Heaven, episodes like Death in Heaven, it's like, and then because I like Dark Water, I was fine with it. And then Death in Heaven is like,
I'm not a man, I'm an idiot.
Yeah.
Oh dear.
In day for night graveyards, like, oh yes, it's
Cyberbrig.
It can work both ways with that sort of scale, and when everything goes so big. But sometimes I guess bringing it back and making this series has been so small in its threats that then to have a bigger one, that's sort of quite a nice. There we go. There's something a bit more grand.
I think we'll get escalation going forward.
Fingers crossed.
I hope so.
I would be disappointed if we didn't go that way.
And then the next one looks.
I was going to say, can we talk about the next time trailer? Can we talk about how great that is?
Do you mean the one just at the end of the episode where it's just a line?
Oh yes, you just said that.
At 1 minute we just like, oh, is that all we're going to get? And then
but then the actual TV trailer
was even more teasy, and it looks incredible.
It looks really good.
Time travel and car flippings
chases and explosions and the greatest weapon across history.
I'm very happy to think of that as the finale for Series 11. It looks amazing.
I think it might kind of be the main payoff.
Yeah. Because if they're teasing what I think we all think they're teasing, then it does sort of
the Yeti.
Put pay. Yeah, the Yeti. Then it does sort of fulfill the nebulous mythical contract.
Yes.
So
my favourite thing about this series is we haven't had them in 2018. They haven't been on television. The contract does not exist. But also, if they're not in the New Year's special, what an amazingly ballsy trailer!
That is so ballsy. Because if it's something we've never seen before.
Again.
No. Does it have a name? Krasco.
And I'd be so there for that.
I'd be even more there for the reaction videos.
All these explosions and car chases.
It's walking around picking up entire cars and slaughtering them.
Oh, what if it's the Patin
clinging onto cars like gremlins.
That shot of walls.
If it is them, that's how you defeat a dart. you feed it to a Patin. Also, just as a statement on that trailer, that's the best edited trailer we've had all series.
Yes, I think the trailers as a whole have been quite weird.
I honestly think they've been an afterthought. I think they almost went to transmission without a trailer for those first couple of episodes, and then were like, I guess what's the series then?
I think it's a combination of that and Chibnall wanting to play his cards very close to his chest, which I think is actually a good move, because there's a lot of times in these episodes that I've been very pleasantly surprised, of them holding back these shots and being able to experience that for the first time within the context of an episode is actually far more rewarding than seeing it in a trailer, 30-second trailer, and getting used to it. And
I know it's a different thing, but look at movie trailers and the way that they so often in a movie trailer you get the final shot of the movie, or they love that stuff, or you'll get shots from the climax of the movie in the trailer. I don't know, TV's kind of different.
Like I said, Sony movies. When Sony make trailers, they just put the last shot in it. And then they put their
more decisions.
Yeah. Spider-Verse was really good.
Spider-Verse is really good.
I haven't seen Spider-Verse.
We have, you haven't.
Matt, that makes us bigger nerds than you,
Do you want to reminisce about Spider-Verse? Oh no, you can't because you haven't seen it. We have!
Welcome to the big damn cast with just us three.
It's just us. We're the big damn lads now, lads.
Yeah, sorry, Matt.
Yeah. The CGI in this series was really good. Really good. I wasn't expecting that. I'm used to, cinema houses do TV effects, that's fine. So Frame Store and Double Negative, they have a TV division. I wasn't expecting DNEG TV to give us some of the most gorgeous shots of planet Earth, of the TARDIS in the vortex, of
that other planet, the planet that they're on.
The planet of Ranskoor of Kolos. You know, there's some really great. And there's also one planet at the end that gets put back, a red planet.
Gallifrey.
Scarrow.
Oh.
I don't know if you mentioned though your real feelings towards Tim Shaw and him.
Oh, I can talk about Tim Shaw if you like.
Because I know you weren't super hot on him, and when the rumour was coming around that he'd be in the finale, you were like,
yeah.
Did you still feel that way?
I do. Yeah, sorry. I still find him a bit generic. I thought he was better than he was in episode 1 here. We see him more. He's weaker, but he's also he's also kind of more sort of desperate. He's
driven, isn't he?
Yeah.
Everyone's better when they're a megalomaniac.
Yeah. absolutely. But for me, there wasn't enough of there for me to be invested in him as a character. I just thought he was still a little bit too sort of generic warrior racy. I've got to get my revenge, Doctor. And he's got teeth in his face, and that's cool. But beyond that, for me, he's not done it for me. I have no problem at all with having a new villain or a villain that we've already had within Series 11 being the finale baddie, like Krasko, but or the Pitting, but
or James the
Krasko.
First,
or Alan Cumming, yeah. But
I will get my revenge, Doctor.
Oh, I would watch a full series of James the First episodes.
and with him as the companion.
Yeah, and the villain.
Trying to kill the Doctor constantly.
Yeah.
A better Tola.
He's Taylor, but done. Right.
So yeah, I've not got too much to add really.
Okay,
I need to give it another watch, but coming out of that, I just thought it was fine.
I think one thing that was a bit of a shame that they didn't play on, and I don't know if they were doing it at all with Tim Shaw, was the whole thing of the planet. If you don't have those things on your head, and I thought they were going to do a thing when the Doctor and Yaz took it off, that they were going to start having these visions or something. I thought that'd be quite cool to see. But there was just the whole thing, I'll take that back, thanks.
Yeah, that doesn't go anywhere.
Yeah, it doesn't go anywhere.
The only reason they're there is to be used as a neural blocker to stop them from stopping Earth.
For Mark, I need to remember things.
But also, it's like
you could have had higher stakes there of them like actually.
Yeah.
But all we really get is the Doctor go, oh, I've got a bit of a headache now. Can I have it back? Oh, good, I can have it back. Cool, there we go.
There's the
and that's
headache.
it.
It is, that's kind of a big change.
That's the kind of thing that you could stretch out if you had 2 parters this series.
Yeah.
I think
especially with part 1. I think because it's meant to be what's adult Mark Adderley.
Mark Adley.
Mark Addled.
Mark has been addled by this atmosphere, but you never, it's never quite paid.
Also, you have Tim Shaw. I thought maybe it would affect Tim Shaw in some way.
Well, he's got his mask on. I suppose. He's got that fantastic set.
I love that.
He's got such a cool,
the huge pumps going.
Do you know what? All of that stuff really reminds me of just like 90s Saturday morning television, not cartoons, television, like Power Rangers. You felt like a Power Rangers baddie.
Yeah.
So what we really needed was the Doctor, Ryan, Yaz, and Graham to join up into a massive mech monster.
The TARDIS would be like the heart.
Yeah.
On the subject of the neural
Power
field.
Rangers
and Power Rangers.
We're still fishing for channels next year.
Did they make it clear in the episode whether that's a natural thing or that's something that Tim Shaw has created with the Ux?
I'm not sure. I think it's meant to be the planet. It's not. I don't think it's actually addressed.
I always thought it was just the planet. I thought that's what it was trying to do. But then if it was the planet, then why? Because I know you said about Tim Shaw and his mask, but I think the only reason he was doing that thing with his mask was because of the events of the first episode. He was crippled. Whereas I thought maybe the planet was making him go a little bit.
Yeah, you could have gone that more. Yeah,
I thought maybe it would play a little bit more with that, and then when they start to go a little bit.
You could have had actually a great moment where he's like, these are planets, and everyone's like, oh no, and then later on one of them opens and it's not. And it's revealed it's his intake of this planet's gaseous stuff. It would be like he's actually just having a really tragic time, and it's the Doctor's fault.
And it's just everyone around. Just the Ux are just making noise. Yes, we'll use the machine, and they're just going pew pew, and they're just going pew pew pew. Yes, it's working, my machine. Pew pew. Everyone's running
just
around.
dressed as a planet.
That's a great idea. The Doctor and the Companion stumble into what's an elaborate therapy session for a recovering villain. No, we just let him have these sort of fantasies that he's conquering everybody. He's not really.
Full in planet costume, spinning around the room.
Oh no, you've got us, Tim Shaw.
We just make them fall over and squirt a bit of ketchup on them. It's fine.
I do think that the Ux, and it might be that I've missed something, but I felt like they were a little bit too easily convinced that that Tim Shaw was a god, and maybe because we didn't see that happen. But then I also thought as well that they were a little too easily convinced that he wasn't. Like they've got them showing doubt, and the Doctor establishes you're doubting yourself here, aren't you? But they just kind of accept it quite quickly. It's a similar issue that I had with the end of the Ghost Monument, where like the guy that owns that runs the race.
Oh yeah.
They just kind of convince him very
By
quickly.
threatening him. Yeah. I think it would be nice to have seen more of deviousness from Tim Shaw.
Yeah.
But at the same time, they were there, and they were like, we're finally here. That we might see him today, or something like that at the start. It's like that. What they're doing at the start is to actually see the creator. So then, for Tim Shaw to show up is like, oh, what a bit of cosmic coincidence. I actually think the Doctor talking them out of it was better because I've forgotten the characters' names, but I think it's established he's 17.
Yeah,
the younger Ux. Yeah, he is. He doesn't buy any of it. Straight up, he doesn't actually believe in Tim Shaw. It's all down to this other person who's been indoctrinated by him.
Which is why he's strapped into the machine.
Yeah,
and
being forced to do it. And then she's also on the edge, and she keeps on having this moment of faith because how can the Doctor have met the creator before, and then once you put those neuro blockers in place, I think then that allows her to have clearer thought. I think I find that's not such a problem as it was in something like the Ghost Monument.
It's just a little observation. That wasn't the thing that kind of like ruined. It didn't ruin the episode at all.
That's right.
It's just something I noticed.
Yeah.
Can we do final thoughts so that I can edit this? So should we talk about the episode and the series as a whole? If you
let's.
Because I'd be interested to see how we feel after having absorbed all 10.
Yeah.
I was fine with this episode. I think maybe more as we chatted about it, I understand maybe certain things a little bit more. But I still think there's a few weak elements, like with the neural blockers, and I just would have liked just a few more time threads to episodes maybe later in the series that then connected to the middle and the end bits. So, but I actually really enjoyed Tim Shaw. I after the second time of viewing the first episode, I enjoyed him a little bit more, and I really enjoyed him in this episode. But I certainly wish he did a bit more. I certainly wish we had a few of that manicness. I think maybe if we had a few that, I know we were joking, but maybe just a little bit of insanity.
Yeah.
I think that would have been nice to play with. But I actually quite enjoyed the sort of last bit of it where it properly sort of got into it. The planet's in danger, and let's get the TARDIS to do this and this. I thought that was quite building up a bit more of a finale sort of feel. But I do still love those sort of slightly over the top, slightly Russell-like finales that are just so ridiculously big, and it's but maybe we might get that in the future. So it's quite nice to start. Maybe next episode might be something a lot more grander. So yeah, I guess it's weird. It's like, is this the finale, or is the next one a sort of an aftermath finale?
Is it the epilogue next week?
Is it the epilogue? But yeah, no, I'd say this episode was about 6 or 7, maybe 7. 7 out of 10. Still love the last 3 episodes more though. I just love those 3. So for me, it was a little bit of a dip compared to those 3 because I just adored those last 3. And then for a series as a whole, that was the strongest section. Those 3 episodes. I liked the beginning. I enjoyed Saranga. I enjoyed Rosa. Spiders one is fine. Ghost Monument is fine. Demons of the Punjab is my least favourite, but I still reasonably enjoy it. And do I have to give the whole series? I mean, in terms of where it lists on the series...
You were not asking you to give the whole series a rating out of 10.
No.
We'll be here all day.
No, it's...
An Unearthly Child, Part 1.
I think it's stronger than all of Peter's series.
Yeah.
Not stronger series 5, not stronger series 4 or 1. Maybe alongside 2.
Okay.
So I very much enjoyed it. But, like every series has ups and downs. But I wasn't expecting 7, 8 and 9 just to be as good as they were. And I would really love those 3. And I want more from those 3 writers. Thank you.
Give me what I want. I don't this was an incredibly strong episode and incredibly enjoyable. And I hadn't thought of the word until you said it, John, but satisfying. Just so satisfying. It's just been really pleasant to watch these characters grow. Well, not quite grow. Yes, sorry. Over the last 10 weeks and cap it off with an episode like this, and I just was smiling the whole time, and that's what I give this episode. I give it a smile out of smiles. The worst rating ever. Very strong episode. Great character stuff. Probably one of my favourites of the season. The season as a whole, it's been really nice to fall in love with my favourite show again. Like that. To actually look forward to watching Doctor Who of an evening and just be wowed by it and smile. So much smiling. As opposed to the Capaldi era of what? What? Just the characters have such a breezy, easy chemistry, and they're just so likable, and their journeys are so satisfying when it comes to the end of the series for me. That it was just great to watch, and stripped down and back to basics. Takes a little of the sci-fi madness away from it, and that. So for me, it's not quite the best of the best, but certainly up there with like Matt Smith's first season. This is easily sits with some like the sort of the middle level Tennant, because Tennant was so consistently good, and I think this is kind of that. It's not incredible, but it's a hell of a strong series, and that's what we needed. Like now that we've got ourselves back on stable footing again, let's bring the fireworks out. That's where I stand with
Just in time for New Year.
Yeah. Ooh, I wonder what that could be. It's going to be the Scribble Monster. So,
I'm waiting for. I'm just half expecting you to give a lecture now on why you think it's the Scribble Monster. So
if I just bring down my this story in itself, satisfying for me. It kind of pulls together a lot of things that I really enjoyed across the series and brings them home. There's still bits that I would have liked to see come into it myself, and I think there was an opportunity to play some more with the planet and some more of the sci-fi elements, but seeing as that doesn't seem to be Chibnall's forte, his strength, he seems to have played more to his strengths, and it seems to have been a fairly good payoff for me. Satisfying is the word I give it. The series as a whole has been very divisive. I don't think within me and within you. The fandom has found this series to be more difficult to comprehend in some ways than any previous one.
Are you sure? It feels like there was a lot of that around the Capaldi era, though. It was just different people.
Then again, I suppose we were the ones not enjoying it in the Capaldi era.
Yeah.
But for me, this one feels like the more kind of...
I think we're just very close to the fandom.
Yeah, maybe. I think this series had a lot to do in the terms of just making Doctor Who a show that people could sit down and watch again and go, oh, I get it. It's fluffy sci-fi with the heart of gold, which is your main character. The main character, the Doctor, is this mad, eccentric, quintessentially British, shape-shifting alien who has a heart of gold and who always sees the best of things and always strives for the best of things. And in that regard, this series, I think, has mostly succeeded. But it hasn't been perfect. There have been more missteps than I think should have been.
Yeah.
And I think that, it it could be stronger still, it could be better, and always aim higher. Chris, don't get cocky. You know, there's videos going around talking about if Series 11 is a failure and if the experiment failed and whatnot. And it hasn't. It hasn't failed, it hasn't been an outright success either. Got to say that. I've really enjoyed it, and I think a lot of people have. And I think ratings-wise, and I think perception-wise, it's been a success for the BBC. We're definitely getting more, you know, that's great. But you can go even further with it. And it's really difficult, because I really loved this series. I really did, and I really do. If I was to rank it along the outside, the others, Series 1 is incredible. Series 5 is magical, and Series 11 is hopeful for the future of the characters in the show, but also for the show. And that's what I am feeling about it.
Is this like a therapy thing where I have to hold the doll if I want to talk?
What did you think, Billy?
Oh no.
Look into her eyes and tell her what you thought.
I can't say I didn't like it. I can't. Oh.
You've been paid to say you liked it.
Oh yeah. Oh no.
You idiot!
Where's that BBC check? I need to cash it now.
Run!
Can I have some of the BBC money?
No. You're too busy rolling around in your Disney money. I've got nothing to add that I haven't already said about this episode at the moment. There's a lot of stuff going on in here. And it might be that when I come back to it I enjoy it more, but my initial reaction, my immediate reaction is that it was just okay. It didn't pull at any heartstrings for me at my cold, dusty black heart.
You've been living with him too long.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh my god, what's that?
Been used to robots. Those flipping kablam men. Love them!
I'm happy to leave it there. As an episode, if I was gonna rate that, I'd say 6 out of 10. Like it was just good. But there's been a lot of occasions where we've given ratings and they've gone up since. So don't take my word for it there. The series as a whole, I really enjoyed Rosa, and if I get given the opportunity, I will talk about how much I love Rosa in every video that I do from now on FiveWhoFans. But
you better hurry up, we've only got 3 weeks left.
Any opportunity, I just loved it so much. That's definitely the one standout episode for me. The series as a whole has, and again I am talking in personal terms here, but for me it's been a bit of a disappointment. There have been no bad episodes, and I've been thinking about this since we spoke about it earlier. And Spiders is probably the weakest, but it's not terrible, and I think that might be the first time since probably Series 1 that's happened.
Wrong.
It's a pretty solid series. It's just that no episodes have kind of what's the word?
No episode has peaked.
No, I've not found myself enjoying an episode enough. I think it's definitely the best series we've had in the last few years. I think it's done the job it needed to do. I think it could have done it better. So
that's not us, by the way, people who like really, really love the series. That's not us saying we could do a better job.
No.
Because Christ, how hard is it to make Doctor Who?
I mean, we could do a really good job writing it, but because of how television works, that doesn't always see itself to the screen. I'm sure there's plenty of missteps that have happened this series that Chris Chibnall is not responsible for.
Yeah,
and the same goes for Stephen Moffat
and Russell. Yeah.
If we are talking in terms of like Chris Chibnall as a writer, I am looking forward to seeing what happens next series, whenever that comes, because I do think that he is quite a reactionary writer, and that he looks at how audiences respond to his material. We've seen it with Torchwood. And I think to an extent with this series, Broadchurch, I'd say so, yeah. And I think to an extent with this series, it's kind of a reaction. He's been looking at how people have been responding to Stephen Moffat's Doctor Who, and has kind of made it accessible again. So I'm looking forward to seeing what happens next year, or the year after.
Or the year after that.
Or the year after that. So yeah, that's it. that's my thoughts. I did my thinking. That's what
Well
came
done.
out.
Award-winning writer here.
Yeah.
Oh, bless you. I think it's a very fascinating conversation to have about the quality of the series, and not in a but it was bad because of politics. Like it's a much more nuanced conversation than that. And I think we're not the channel to have it.
I mean, we were going to try and do an agenda thing every week.
Oh, Agenda Watch. We have a final series Agenda Watch.
Okay, so oh god.
So there isn't.
There isn't one. Let's be
No,
honest.
just isn't. Not in the way that people perceive it anyway.
Not in the way that people look at it and go, but Mark Addy was a man who needed the Doctor to tell him he was good, and therefore feminism. The series just doesn't hold that, because honestly, people in television do not have enough time to. You may sit there on the other side of the globe looking at the BBC and say, well, it's paid for by the licence fee, and therefore, if this wasn't on the licence fee, they wouldn't make these decisions like this because they know they can get away with it. That's not how it works. The reason, really, by pointing out that the channel is run by a licence fee, points out that you're wrong. It really points at you. Your point about the licence fee, and you know who you are, tells you.
Billy Garrett, John.
Honestly, there isn't an agenda.
No.
Like, there is no out-and-out agenda to destroy the white man. It's a show about hope and saying that anyone can rise to the occasion and fulfill the most powerful, strong version of themselves that they can. Sorry, I get very emotional when talking about the message of Doctor Who, and that's always been the case, and it will continue to be. And it's just that this series wore that on its sleeve.
Yeah.
It was quite proud of its mission statement.
I just got a message saying that the check's been cashed, by the way.
Excellent. It was
Okay.
Let's never do this again.
Cool.
Bye.
Bye.
Matthew.
Yes.
Matthew, where can we find you?
Many of you know of the fine FiveWhoFan Christopher. Well, I and he, we do dirty things. But that's in private. Actually, you can find us every week. Thursday for audio, Friday for YouTube. The Big Damn Cast, Pop Culture Podcast. Hello, Jody. The Big Damn Channel, we do video bits and pieces. I've got an ongoing Let's Play series called Adventures in Backlogging. We do other bits and pieces here and there. We're doing more when Chris gets back from his panto. Panto. So yes, at Big Damn Cast on Twitter for all the stuff that's going on with that.
Thank you for watching.
Don't come back.
Thank you for watching this review. It's been a very long one, unless I've edited it down significantly. We're running well over an hour now. Oh God, Billy! Oh no. So you'll be seeing us again talking about Doctor Who sometime after New Year's. We'll be discussing the whatever that episode turns out to be.
Well, currently it's called Resolution.
Yes. So, that, FiveWhoFans news, Dan and I have been filming the results of the classic Doctor Who story competition. We have got our winners, we've not told them, and yeah, we're just filming it now, so you should be getting the results within the next couple of weeks.
We have also completed filming, and I'm editing the very, very final video on the FiveWhoFans YouTube channel.
I'm very excited to see it, boys.
Shall I say the date?
Sure. Now you've got no choice but to get it
I
out.
have to get it out on this date. It should be hitting your screens on January the 5th, 2019. If you do your research, you'll figure out why that date makes sense. Toodles.
Bye everyone. Happy New Christmas.
Happy Christmas, Happy Hanukkah, Happy Holidays.
Yes, Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year from the FiveWhoFans.
What's left of them?
No Daleks!
Yes,
No Daleks this year! There ain't no Daleks year!
No Daleks, no Cybermen, no
Let's watch that trailer again. Let's watch that trailer.
Yeah, let's watch that
Let's watch
trailer.
trailer.
Yes.